Let's go on to our first start for the week. We got for the running back position, first running back start of the week. Jesus Christ, why can't I talk?
I don't know.
First start that man for the running back position. We have Jeremy
McNichols.
McNichols.
Yeah, Jeremy McNichols. I know they did sign AP.
Sorry.
I know where you're laughing. I can read your mind.
That's the off-air funnies.
Reason I kind of like him a little bit is, AP's just signed this week. He's got to get the playbook a little bit. I know they can call basically power up, run it up the middle with him, but I mean, you see, he's had a little bit of a decent little PPR floor. Jeremy McNichols throughout the season. Derrick Henry surprisingly was someone who was averaging I think he was on pace for like 60. I want to say it was in the 60 to 70 target range. So those targets that out of that passing game, they're going to go to Jeremy McNichols. They're not going to go to Adrian Peterson, I believe, but because he hasn't been a passing down specialist at all in his career. Some of these carries are going to go to Jeremy McNichols. So, someone who's going to get 6 to 10 carries in the game, but could easily see 5 to 8 targets. Not easily, but given the game script there's a potential for with the Rams offense, if they do get in any kind of shootout, it's going to be Jeremy McNichols on the floor if they fall on the field if they fall behind. If they're in a chasing game script, it's not going to be AP. So I just think he offers a decent PPR floor, and I think you're going to see more rush attempts than you were seeing when Derrick Henry was there.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Jeremy McNichols. I think, if you're going to play one of these guys, I think I'm going to fade away from both if I can, but I can definitely in PPR leagues for sure. I'm with you on Jeremy McNichols.
But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they split up this backfield. Like you said, they go get AP, but I mean, the guy's fresh off the street. He's got to learn the offense. He's got to learn like the verbiage of the plays and all that stuff. And like Anthony said, I think this is a game script with the Rams being at home where, they're ahead and they're going to be chasing a lot. And, AP not the best pass catcher, or that's not his forte, I guess you could say. So, a guy who doesn't really know the playbook, and then if the game script's a negative game script, yeah, I mean, the best thing for AP would be for them to get a goal line carry. So, yeah, I like this one. I'm not mad at this one.
Subscribe.
Yeah. I'm not going to bet against AP because he's AP, but I think he's like 37 or 38.
Yeah, dude,
or 48. So, I mean, there also is, in the range of outcomes, there is the chance that he just doesn't have it anymore.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, they're not going to force feed him. There's a potential for McNichols to have even more carries if that's the case.
Listen, Frank Gore, Adrian Peterson, they don't age. Chad Ochocinco said he could play right now if he wanted to. He said it's all mental. There's no physical part of football. That's what he said. Anyways, let's move on to the next one here. We got your boy, Elijah Mitchell. I'm starting to be like, okay, I can trust the San Francisco running back. I might be able to. You got to start him week after week. Let's do it.
Yeah, I feel like I've been beating the drum of the Elijah Mitchell hype train every single week, and he was widely available a couple weeks on the waiver wire, and even this last week he was available, I think, in 40% of the NFL.com leagues. But, I mean, 18 or more touches in 4 of the 5 games that he started. He's had 100 or more rushing yards in 3 of those 5 games. I mean, he is the running back. I know it's kind of like a surprise. We're thinking Trey Sermon, however you pronounce it, would be the backup to Raheem Mostert. Obviously, Mostert goes down, but it was Elijah Mitchell who stepped in week 1 and took over. And, just in my opinion, I know we're going to get Jeff Wilson Jr. back, and, Trey Sermon's still there. But to me, Elijah Mitchell hasn't done anything, in my opinion at least, for him to lose the job. He's been doing everything, in my opinion, to be like, hey, this is the guy, and that's why they are giving him, like I said, 18 or more touches in 4 of the 5 games. And then the matchup is just money. They're going to be at home against the Cardinals. Cardinals allow 4.9 yards per carry. That's the second most in the NFL. I mean, we saw what AJ Dillon was able to do against them on Thursday night last week. I was looking at some stats right here, but hashtag interesting stat. Only 1 carry inside the 5-yard line for Elijah Mitchell, which I thought was kind of weird, especially for him getting as many touches as he has, and then the Niners being a run-heavy offense. It's actually Jimmy Garoppolo who leads the Niners with 2 carries inside the 5-yard line. I'm gonna bet that changes this week. I like Elijah Mitchell here to get you at least 80 total scrimmage yards and fall into the end zone. So, yeah, I think he's a solid RB2 play this week.
It could also be they're just not getting in that close. They either score or they don't. You know what I mean? I don't know. Okay. I like it. Elijah Mitchell, start him.
Yeah,
if you got him, fucking throw him in, dude.
Definitely. Definitely.
Definitely You know what I mean? I'm over here and I'm just like,
Fuck it, send it in.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Here we got our boy Chase Edmonds, the Arizona Cardinals running back.
Yes.
That's not James Conner. Start him. Start that man.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. You don't have the biggest
PPR or
yeah, a little bit more PPR, but and a half-point PPR. I mean, Kyler Murray is not at 100%. And the snap count percentage for the last 2 weeks has been Chase Edmonds. I think it's above 65%. He does have games where he's had over, 12. When he gets over 10 carries, he's been highly efficient on the ground. I think he has a 120-yard game, 80, and the other one was like 70 something. The PPR floor is kind of there too. I just think they're gonna try and run the ball a little bit more, or have more of a ground game with Kyler not at 100%. I think it's kind of a close game, which I like, because some of the games where James Conner gets more work, it's when they're blowing the teams out, and he's kind of just he is the red zone back for sure from what we've seen. But I think this is a competitive game between the two. I think it's a kind of a close mid-range scoring game. And if they do decide to get the ball out of Kyler's hands quicker in some of these plays to avoid him taking any hits, that's just going to go to help Chase Edmonds in the passing game.
Do you think if Kyler Murray doesn't play, do you still like Chase Edmonds? I almost like it better.
I
almost like it just the same, if anything.
I feel like it's even, if not maybe even a little bit of a benefit, because they might be leaning more on the running game.
Yeah,
if he's not out there.
I think Chase Edmonds and Zach Ertz get a boost if Kyler Murray's not in.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. Even if I think it's Colt McCoy. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
He's the backup quarterback. Colt McCoy, a journeyman. He's been in the league for 10 years plus now, I feel like. So a capable backup. I don't think that they would take too much of a downgrade in terms of, like, obviously Kyler Murray's Kyler Murray. But I think Colt McCoy is a very serviceable quarterback who can come in and get the job done. But, I like Chase Edmonds, too. I think he's a solid RB2, especially in PPR leagues. I mean, 10 or more PPR points in 6 to 8 games. So you're getting a safe floor on a consistent week-to-week basis. Yeah,
and they might choose to not rush Kyler Murray around the end zone as much. That's kind of when Drake had his mini breakout last year, but when he started getting hot towards the end of the year is when Kyler Murray, what did he hurt last year? His ankle, his shoulder, something like that.
He finished squabble, but his ankle hurt.
That's kind of when Drake saw like his performances go up because they didn't use him as much around the goal line. So that could be the case again.
Yeah.
And if McCoy's there, I don't think they're having him run the ball in. So.
Yeah, I'm with it. Yeah, start Chase Edmonds. Bing, bing, bong. And I'm going to say start that man because this man has enough quads to feed a family for 4 years. AJ Dillon, start that man. He is a real man. This is the thing is if Aaron Rodgers isn't playing, I think this is really going to switch to a running back type of game with Jordan Love. So I think it boosts Aaron Jones and I think it boosts AJ Dillon. So I don't think this is like a must start. This isn't like he's going to be running back 2, running back 1, but this guy you can flex him. You can throw him as your running back 2 if you need to in some leagues. And I think he's going to get enough opportunity here to make something happen for fantasy. Especially against the Chiefs. The Chiefs defense they've been giving it up in the air a little bit more, but I do think that the Chiefs defense as a whole has a lot of holes. So I think AJ Dillon kind of like a flex option for you. Not so much you got to start him 100%, but yeah, flex option AJ Dillon.
Yeah, I mean, if you're in a pinch, I mean, what do you got? You got Fournette on a bye. You got DeAndre Swift on a bye. Gibson, McKissick.
Add the injuries in.
You have some of those injuries as well. So, I mean, yeah, if you're just scrambling for a running back, he's probably widely available on the waiver wire. Like Mike said right here, it's a good matchup. Chiefs giving up 4.6 yards per carry, so not very good at defending the run. And, Jordan Love making a start here. I would presume that they do lean more on the ground game with AJ Dillon, with Aaron Jones, instead of relying on Jordan Love to throw the ball 35, 40 times a game. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like I'm definitely not playing any Packers wide receiver if your name is not Devontae Adams.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Here we have Dernest Johnson, and guess what? I'm gonna say Sit that boy.
Dude, that's just the dernest thing you've ever said, dude.
You've been waiting all day to say that, haven't you, boy? Dernest Johnson, don't play him, boy. He's just not getting enough opportunity. You know, people were saying, oh, maybe he's going to get that Kareem Hunt role. Obviously, it's like a very small sample size because it's 1 week. But, not having a lot of targets, not having a lot of carries, that scares me. And, what do we say? Best ability, availability. And that boy Dernest don't got any. I'm just gonna fall back. If you didn't score the touchdown last week, you were gonna be upset. It's like we were joking about it before. Me and Anthony is like, if like Nick Chubb ran up the whole field and then Dernest said, "Yo, it's Dernest time," and that he ran in there and just scored. So it's like, I'm okay. If you didn't score that touchdown, you're gonna be upset. You started him last week.
I mean, one thing I say too is just kind of sidebar.
He's really good, by the way. I'm impressed.
Nick Chubb, a good buy low candidate. If you can buy low on him, or if you could just get him in general.
Oh boy,
that would definitely be someone I'd be trying to acquire and get on my team. Nick Chubb.
Because the biggest
you make that trade happen,
100%.
Pull the trigger.
The biggest thing on Nick Chubb, the hardest part about that whole thing was the fact that Kareem Hunt takes away from him so much. So you got a couple more weeks of Kareem Hunt out. Cream in my pants and call me Dernest. I'm throwing Nick Chubb in the lineup. All right. Anyways, next sit for the core.
Is that like a Louisiana accent or what
I know. It's like Dernest. He's from a country.
I don't know.
Where is that accent from? Is it from
Dernest?
From Tennessee.
It's like Alabama, Louisiana,
Montana.
It's definitely like probably like a LSU.
Scottsdale. I mean, where's that from?
It's not. I don't
Tempe.
know. Khalil Herbert.
Khalil. Hey, Khalil.
Khalil.
My sit was a little bit more of a Bears.
So sit that boy, Khalil Herbert.
Yeah, it was a little bit more of a Bears running back situation. I mean, Montgomery's been activated off the. He's been elevated to the practice. What's it called exactly? He's able to practice and be activated.
He's in like that 21-day window where they either have to activate him or put him back on IR.
Yeah, I mean Pittsburgh's got a tough run defense. I mean if Khalil Herbert is if David Montgomery is not active, I'm still okay flexing Khalil Herbert based off the volume. But if David Montgomery is active, in the first week back, I really don't think I want to touch either of them with the tough run matchup against Pittsburgh. And I think Khalil Herbert, I think he showed enough to warrant some playing time. So I think it's going to end up being a split with him and Montgomery coming back, or at least some type of timeshare. So I'm kind of trying to shy. If Montgomery's active, I'm shying away from both those guys.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the side where I don't think David Montgomery plays in this week because after the game on Monday night against Pittsburgh, they're on a Week 10 bye, so that would just give them 2 more extra weeks for Montgomery to come back for Week 11 and then kind of finish the tail end of the season for you there. But if David Montgomery doesn't play, I'm okay with having Khalil Herbert as my RB2. I mean, the carries he's been getting 18, 19, 18, and 23. And I think the most impressive thing is 100 rushing yards against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road. And the Bears' offense is not very good at all. Probably one of the worst offenses in the NFL. And for him to be able to do that against, a top-tier rush defense in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it just shows like what this guy's capable of doing. And like I said, if David Montgomery's there, obviously that makes things a lot more murky. But if he's not, I'm okay with Khalil Herbert as an RB2 for you.
That's actually more of a myth than anything. Me and someone were talking about off air because it was on Twitter. Teams don't actually hold the players out just because of bye week.
Yeah.
They just generally speaking, there was a whole like Twitter thing on it. Is if they're gonna play, they play.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, there was a doctor discussing on it where you don't want these players to sit out as long without contact because the more they sit out without contact, the more they're prone to have injury down the road. So it's actually better for them to get on the field, get you running at full speed.
Stay fresh.
Yeah, spit some dirt in it.
To get running full speed, take some hits. So it's actually better for them to then have that extra layoff time. The doctor was discussing that, so myth busted.
I was like, oh, say less.
Okay, let's move on to sit that boy. We got Adrian Peterson. This is kind of like, we were just talking about Jeremy McNichols, how he's there, and Adrian Peterson, and how he's kind of more the rushing quarterback or running back. He's not so much going to be the pass catching guy. He's running up. He's running up right now, and So in this, it's also the matchup. Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's a tough matchup against
Yeah,
the Rams.
yeah,
like you said.
sorry.
It's a tough run defense. You got Aaron Donald. He's pretty good. They get Von Miller. They traded for him, so I'm expecting him to play
Yeah,
this
it's
week
huge.
as well.
So, can Adrian Peterson show up and prove that age is nothing but a number?
Yeah. To me, it's more of one of those things where unless I have no other options, and it's just like, okay, like I'll throw in AP as my RB2 because I just like there's literally no one else that I'm okay with that. But for me, I'd want to see it at least first. I want to see how this gets split up between him and McNichols. I want to see, how much he's utilized in the passing game. Does he, like Anthony said, does he get just completely phased out of the passing game because that's all McNichols? And, obviously I think when they get close to the goal line, it is going to be Adrian Peterson who gets the goal line carries. So does he have the opportunity to get you 12 to 15 carries potentially for 50, 60 yards and fall to the end zone? 100%. But, I just don't see the upside here. In my opinion, I don't know how you guys feel about it. So, yeah, the upside is kind of capped. Maybe, like I said, maybe he gets you 50 yards and then a touchdown. But if he doesn't find the end zone, I don't think he's going to have enough work in terms of like PPR-wise or like total scrimmage yards that you're going to be too happy with what he brings to the table.
Yeah, I need to see a week. I mean, you could see I forget the other running back's name, but outside of McNichols, but you could see an Eagles situation. You think that someone's going to come in and then they have that, I forget his name. He's like, I think it was like a free agent signing, or they have someone else there that he might end up being the guy who gets 10 carries, like you saw with like the whole Boston Scott thing. But that happens a lot of times. So I want to see a week before I'm really trusting AP.
God, these Adrian
I know
Peterson
these throwback AP highlights are
crazy.
just insane.
I
I
know.
can tell all that is because of the scoreboard.
Yeah, I mean, I could just tell from the pads too. But let's go to sit that boy. We got Damien Harris. This is a shocker.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a consensus top 12 this week. But, Carolina has the number one rush defense in the NFL. And, just kind of going to Damien Harris's game log, I mean, he really hasn't faced a tough rushing defense except for two. I mean, the Chargers, the Giants, Dallas, Houston. These are the easy ones. The Giants and Miami. All those teams, I'm going to guess, are at least in the bottom 8. Maybe minus the Chargers.
Yeah.
And they might even be in the bottom 8. Now you go to his two tougher rushing matchups. Tampa Bay, 4 yards for minus 4 yards. New Orleans, 6 carries for 14 yards. He's facing the number one rush defense in the NFL. I'm kind of fading him this week. I'm not benching him completely, but if I have other options, I'm definitely looking that way. He doesn't make much noise in the receiving game. I mean, you're looking at like a ceiling of 2 catches in this game. So, I mean, I could see a very disappointing week if he doesn't get in the end zone. So, and I actually see this to be a little bit of a lower scoring game based off of quarterbacks, defenses, other factors. So, I'm a fade on Damien Harris this week.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I feel like this is going to be a low-scoring game, like you said. The defense is not too many points being scored in this matchup. But, yeah, he'd be like a low-end RB2 for me there. It just depends on who you got. Like I said, there's so many running backs on bye, so many injuries, so it'd be tough. But low-end RB2.
Yeah, and he's being ranked as like a RB1, so that's why.
Would you go Zach Moss or Damien Harris?
I'd probably go Zach Moss.
Zach Moss.
I'd probably go Zach Moss.
Zach Moss against the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Okay, Damien Harris or flex Allen Robinson?
Damien Harris.
Damien Harris.
Damien Harris or flex Marvin Jones?
Damien Harris or Myles Gaskin?
I was going to say that.
Full point PPR.
In a full, I'd go Gaskin.
I'm going to go Gaskin over.
Half, I'd go Gaskin still. Standard,
Gross.
I'd go Gaskin.
I'm going Damien Harris, dude.
Yeah.
Cut
Najee
it
Harris
out.
or Damien Harris? Battle of the Harrises.
Bro, don't fuck with me, dude.
All right.
Let's go on to the next one here. We got Devonta Freeman. God, Devonta Smith has been throwing me off so much. But yeah, this is sit that boy for Devonta Freeman, but this is for all Ravens running backs. If you look at the snap count for the Baltimore Ravens, which I can pull up in just a moment, if you just give me 1 second, and here we are. We got this last week is 29, 40, and 30%. That is gross. If I don't see over 50%, get the fuck out of my lineup, dude. Don't go near my lineup, dude. Don't even look at it. All right? So Devonta Freeman, you had a great time in Atlanta. It didn't really work out. No Super Bowl for you. Daddy, get out of my lineup. I'm okay.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, with these Ravens running backs, they've basically been touchdown dependent. I mean, pretty much. I think if you were to take away, Tyson Williams, the first couple of weeks was getting you some solid total scrimmage yards. But, if you take away those touchdowns, Latavius Murray, you take away those touchdowns, Devonta Freeman last week or the week before that, you take away those touchdowns, they're only getting you 40, 50 yards tops, total scrimmage yards. And that's just not enough, to sustain, like I said, if they're not finding the end zone, it's gross.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good on I'm 100% good on that.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get...
Shut up, Colin. They need to subscribe right here. Daddy was talking. Shut up, Colin. Listen, if you like that video, there's plenty more where that came from. Bang, 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 bang. Somewhere around here, maybe over there. But if you want to go check out the full episode, you can do it link down in the description below, the full audio podcast. Now, if you want to support the channel, go ahead, subscribe, and also go check out Underdog Fantasy. If you use promo code AVG right now with Underdog Fantasy for their DFS app, you can get up to $100 matching your first deposit. So if you put $50 in, they'll match $50. If you put $100 in, they'll match $100. That's a lot of monies. It's really good monies. Take advantage of it. Use promo code AVG right meow. And Colin, don't ever show up on my channel ever again. Okay? Or else Daddy's gonna be angry.